show. Welcome back. Welcome back to the show. Thank you for joining us. I'm your host, Anthony Scott Dover, the man of the hour, the tower of power. Too sweet to be sour. And whatever else you might think of that means I'm awesome. Yeah, throw that in there. Feel free. Anyway, in sports, the Lakers, Clippers, Celtics, and the Heat are, actually the Clippers are not, they haven't moved on. The Clippers are going to a 7th game with the Denver Nuggets. I'm not sure about the Clippers. The Clippers, they don't look that great. We're talking NBA basketball here, in case I didn't mention that. It's the playoffs in the bubble. They're down in the bubble in Orlando. And it's the playoffs. The Lakers have moved on to the Western Conference Finals. They await the winner of the 7th game between the Clippers and the Nuggets. Boston Celtics are going to play the Miami Heat in the Eastern Conference Final. They all have advanced. The Clippers, I actually watched most of the Clipper game. 2 games in a row, actually, I watched. That were Clipper games. And both games, they looked the same. It looked like the same game. The Clippers were winning by 16 in the third quarter and then end up losing the game. Because the Clippers, their defense is awful. And the announcers keep saying that their defense is good. I'm like, no, it's not. This is a terrible defense. Okay, if you watch the game, you keep seeing Clippers running at a guy about to shoot a 3, and they don't make it, and he shoots and makes it. And this happens over and over again. I mean, I keep thinking, what is your defensive philosophy? Stop leaving the guy alone. You don't need to go double teaming everybody who has the ball. It's silly and unnecessary. And then they got guys who are just going around their defense and driving right to the basket and dunking it or shooting the layup. Then they got this big klutzy tall guy. He's like a 7-footer. Who the other 7-footer for Denver, nicknamed the Joker, is just scoring all over this guy. It's pitiful. It makes him look silly. He's just misusing a dude. And still the announcers are saying the guy who's getting scored on he's vastly improved. I'm like, what? You mean he was worse than this at one point? Damn. This guy is not. He is not getting the job. I'm not going to say sorry. He's an NBA player. So he can't be sorry. But when I'm watching some of these players and they just look pathetic, I'm thinking he is a professional basketball player, so he is a good player. But compared to the other players, he looks like a complete fool. But anyway, the Clippers, the Los Angeles Clippers, going to a 7th and final deciding game against the Denver Nuggets. So Lakers have advanced and they're waiting for the winner of that game. So very soon we'll have the participants in the NBA Finals. We'll see who that is, but it's getting pretty late. Usually the NBA, and I know it's because of COVID, usually the NBA Finals, the NBA Championship is over in June. So the fact that it's September, these guys was on a big delay. It's getting pretty late. You know, I won't say it's getting pretty late in the season, but it's almost time for them to start the season. You know what I'm saying? The regular season. Yeah. And now they're not even finished because of COVID. But still. And that's the thing with the college football. They're still trying to figure out whether the Big Ten and the Pac-10, or at least the Big Ten, I don't know what the Pac-10 is doing, but they're still trying to figure out whether they're going to play or not. And you can't have these college kids playing 2 seasons in 1 year, so they either need to start playing now or just forget it. And like I said before, let the players and the parents make that decision of whether they're going to play or not. Not the presidents of the school. Give them all the medical knowledge possible. They're not stupid. They'll make the decision that, that suits them. You just make sure you remind them that, hey, we gave you all the information, so don't sue us if things don't turn out right. But the NFL games are mostly over right now, except for the Cowboys and the Rams are playing right now, actually. And I'm missing the game doing this podcast. That tells you how much I love this podcast. It's a wonderful podcast. Because the Cowboys are a team I like. They don't look that great, though. The defense, looks bad against the Rams. And not just the Rams' offense. It's actually the Cowboys' defense just not that good, not aggressive. But I seen some highlights today. And since I'm a guy from Ohio, I didn't pay that much attention to the Browns. And I actually forgot to watch the Bengal game. The Bengal game didn't start till 4. And so I was waiting for it, and I forgot all about it. Didn't watch it. But I caught a little bit of it. I caught some of the fourth quarter. And the Bengals ended up losing 16-13, which means they didn't have a lot of offense. But from what I've seen, Joe Burrows looked good. The rookie from LSU, he's actually from Ohio, went to Ohio State before he transferred to LSU. He couldn't get on the field at Ohio State. He hadn't developed into the Joe Burrows that we know. Those of you who are sports fans, and you've seen Joe Burrows play when LSU won the national championship with Joe Burrows as the quarterback. And he looked great there last year. It was just last year. He looked good for the Bengals. He looked good when I watched some of the game today, even though they only scored 13. It was just their first game, and they didn't have any preseason games, so he didn't get any real reps. So give him some time. I think he's going to be a great player. Just Joe Burrows, the new Bengals quarterback who was the number 1 draft pick. I think he's going to be a great player. if he can stay healthy, I think he'll be great. So Bengal fans will have something to cheer about after they give Joe Burrows a little bit of time. He's going to be good, I do believe. The Browns, they don't look like they're going to be very good. They have Baker Mayfield. Baker Mayfield is who I sometimes call to myself Faker. Baker Mayfaker, because he's faking the funk on a nasty dunk. Meaning he's not that good. He can't. There's no consistency with him in the pocket. He has to get out of the pocket to make plays, and you just can't. You're not going to be able to do that consistently. You don't have a reason to. If you drop back in the pocket and the rush is not on you, you got to sit in that pocket and make a throw. With Baker Mayfield, he cannot do that consistently. He can do it once or twice. But if you make Baker Mayfield stay in the pocket, the Browns will not beat you. They're not going to win. So, if any of you knows any defensive coordinators around the AFC, let them know. Keep Baker in the pocket, and you'll beat the Browns every time. Tampa Bay Buccaneers lost the game. Brady threw 2 interceptions, so things didn't start out that well with Tom Brady being the quarterback of the Buccaneers. I did not watch that game either. I seen the highlights of it, but the Buccaneers did score. They played the Saints, the Drew Brees Saints. The Buccaneers, they scored 23 points, so it's not like they didn't do anything. But they didn't do enough to win. So Tom Brady's debut in a Buccaneer uniform, unsuccessful. Threw 2 picks, and one of them was a pick 6. So that did it for the Buccaneers. So everybody was waiting to see how Tom Brady would do in the Buccaneer uniform, his new team, after playing for the Patriots for 20 years. Can you believe that? This guy actually played for 20 years. Oh, man. He's 43 years old and still a quarterback in the National Football League. That's pretty good, Mr. Brady. He doesn't eat strawberries or, what's that other thing he does? Tomatoes. And that, some people, you tell some people that, they'd be like, oh, really? Well, I'm going to stop eating strawberries and tomatoes tomorrow. That ain't what made allowed him to stay in the league so long. I think it was other things, but he also doesn't eat strawberries or tomatoes. I had a doctor tell me tomatoes have more good stuff in them than bad. So he said I wouldn't worry about it if I was you. I'd still eat them, because I asked a doctor about it. He said, yeah, Tom Brady's right. There's some lectins or something in tomatoes that can, if you get bad knees or ankles or something, that can help with the swelling in tomatoes. So inflammation is what it is. They contribute to inflammation, something in tomatoes. But I guess if you ain't got no swelling, you're fine. But the doctor told me that tomatoes have more good stuff than bad. I don't know what's in strawberries, why Tom Brady doesn't eat them.